The summer before 8th grade, I went to band camp in Lake Texoma. It was only a week long, but it felt much longer. I honestly didn't even want to go to camp. My friend Chris Moore was the one who thought it would be fun, and I just said, you know what? I'll ask my mom, certain that it was going to be too expensive for her to say yes. But at age 12, I had failed to comprehend just how excited parents are at the prospect of sending their kids away for a week. To my dismay, she said, absolutely, where do I send the check? A couple of things that I learned at band camp. One, I was not very good at music. I was last chair in band B. There were only bands A and bands B for that entire week. And then two, being in pre-puberty around a bunch of kids going through it is a recipe for extreme self-consciousness. I didn't get picked on per se, but my friend Chris did check in with me on day 3 to ask if I had taken a shower yet. Nope. And I was not showering with the other kids. And he said, you know what? Just during lunch, eat your food, run back to the cabin, take a shower. And that was a really nice trick. I heard a lot of stories from the other boys about making out with girls, and I didn't even think that was a possibility for the rest of my life, let alone that week at camp. In the end, my mom came to pick me up, and I had never been so happy to see a Nissan hatchback in my life. But for all my preteen discomfort, I was fortunate enough to not meet any Bills, Rickies, Arties, Judys, or Megs at my band camp. No one died in a revenge murder like in the Camp classic Sleepaway camp, and certainly no Angela/Peter type cutting off anyone's head at the lake. Hi, Cecil.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Do you have camp memories?
Oh, I
Did
have
you go to
all the
camp?
camp memories.
Tell me a
We
camp
got the
memory.
Boy Scout camp memories. We got the band camp memories. We got the poetry camp memories. That was the first time I slept with a bisexual boy.
Mm.
What other kind of camp? No. Oh, we even have sports camp memories where I went to school with. I think I went to school with like camp with Brad Renfro, the dude who anyway, it was ugly. It was terrible. It was all terrible.
Cecil, we don't again, I failed to get us a guest for this week, but we have a performer, a writer, a horror lover, co-host of the podcast Gaylords of Darkness, Portland's premier drag clown, lover of Stephen Sondheim, and a returning guest to this show. We have Anthony Hudson, aka Carla Rossi. Hi, Anthony. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be back here at camp. I'm also so jealous of your camp memories because every time I watch a slasher, a camp slasher, or any of this, I'm like, is camp real? This is a
Did
thing
you
that
not go? Did you
no,
not
I
get
never
one?
went. No.
Oh.
I went like I had one day at like a 4-H, like where they do the 4-H day and like you meet the weird like Amish girl that raised a lamb and then she sells it and
They're like, touch this cow, touch it.
Yeah. Here's the cow. Put the sticker on the cow. Now it's a winner, or now we're gonna eat it. Like that's the extent of my awareness of camp is just that. And so I feel, having grown up with like, Salute Your Shorts, or then later Friday the 13th, Sleepaway Camp, I just feel cheated. I feel cosmically cheated.
What did you do all summer?
I don't know. There were trees. we walked near a tree, or sometimes you go to a river. That was about it. Like week or months. When I would watch a summer camp thing, it feels like they're away for months, and you come back like Lord of the Flies changed. And I guess this was not in the cards for me.
That story that I told about my shitty summer camp or band camp that I went to, I think was informed by the fact that the 1980s just movie, whether it was a horror film like Sleepaway Camp or whether it was just some like Meatballs or some whatever like raucous silly comedy, people in the 80s, if you only watch movies from the 80s comedies, you would think that every person is so mean. The people were just vicious. And so I was
mean,
always
horny, and insane.
Yes, I was always on guard, not just for killers, but like people that were gonna like pants you or like dangle you over a bridge or do something just insano to you. And we see a little bit of that in that movie, right? Where they do the shaving cream trick on the one boy, Mozart, where they make him do a sit-up into another boy's ass. Just all
Listen,
I was ready for
hasn't?
all of that. And fortunately, I lived in a much milder, real world wherein I did not receive any of that kind of like physical, horrible abuse.
Now, Anthony, I think I understand your camp. Because I went to a high school that didn't really have the Breakfast Club breakdown of personality. You know, like I didn't understand those movies. I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, I'm friends with the cheerleader girl because she's super smart and she's in my English class. Like, I didn't understand what that was. And somebody's like, yeah, that's how most high schools are. Or like bites after school. I was like, nobody was, what are you all talking about? So I think I understand a little like mythologic teenage or preteen rites of passage that somehow you just like were on the express lane and just went right around.
Yes, the John Hughesing of young American life. It's created it's a world of fabrications, and I feel lied to, and I would like a refund.
So now you're an adult. If you could go to camp for summer, a whole summer camp, where would you go?
I wouldn't, because I've seen these movies. I've learned that you never want to do this. I would go. I would go wherever Judy is. Whatever camp she's at, I would go. If Camp Arawak, if that's the closest place I can find Judy. Judy is my queen.
You would literally be holding her purse, wouldn't you?
I would be holding her purse. I would be combing her hair for her and like counting each brush stroke. I just live for that mean girl.
I love you being her like hype man, basically. That's right, you are a bitch. Shouting back at other kids.
Yeah, you tell her.
It's like you have to go into any room she enters before and make sure there's a seat where no one is sitting for her, because she will not sit next to any old person.
Mm-hmm.
But also making sure that there's someone to humiliate.
Oh my
because
god!
What good? It's like if a tree humiliates someone in the woods, but there's nobody else around to see the humiliation. You know.
Yeah.
So I have to go in and like kind of prep the space. Yeah,
you're the one who leans over and whispers to Judy, "Look at her shoes," and you just kind of get her. You kind of feed her those sorts of things. You're like the producer in her ear on like a radio show, right? Yeah.
Yes, our Cyranoing of the mean girl. This thank you for recognizing a crucial part of the gay mean girl pipeline.
Yes. No, it's absolutely true. I feel like as members of the tribe of humanity, like us queer folk, like literally that's our job. We're like,
now
every mean girl needs a gay Lady Macbeth, 100%.
Now let me ask you the tough questions right off the bat. Is there a queer read on this movie?
What?
Why do you? I don't understand, you disgusting people, that you have to make everything gay. Everything gay.
Listen, why can't I just wear a cut off crop top Daisy Duke shorts with a Sansa belt slack belt, fuck me socks, and Converse? Why you got to make that gay?
It's just what I think. You see, you're wearing a very comfortable expression of just rigid, unflinching masculinity, heterosexually coded masculinity.
This movie,
let's start at the beginning.
Let's loop back to that as soon as we meet when we get to the homestead. We'll tackle that.
So this, I love the opening of this movie. It's great. It's this like we have the opening credits, and it's just camera panning around, and we see that it's autumn. We can see by the leaves, and it's panning through this campground, and we hear people, like playing and outside doing stuff, playing sports and chatting and talking and running. And it's great because this actually sort of like took me in. I love this because I'm waiting for the camera to pan to people doing stuff. But as the camera keeps panning through the campground, you see like upturned benches, trash cans dumped over, like empty, dilapidated basketball courts, boarded up windows. And it finally lands on a sign that says Camp Arawak for sale, written right across the front. And then
really, honestly, if you're a filmmaker, this is really the cheapest way to tell any story. You're just like, just get the audio and just slow pan across nothing.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Then we cut back to summertime on the lake. And we have adult John and his two kids, Peter and Angela.
fucking woof is
Oh,
all I
yeah.
have to say.
Oh yeah, it was a better time.
Mhm.
It just such easy times. Just like I was like, I would literally crawl into your chest hair and make a home there,
Oh yeah,
like a beetle or of some sort.
or Han Solo in a tauntaun.
Oh my god! Like, and wake me up when I'm 80, because that's what I'll be doing for the rest of my life.
So John is with his kids at the lake, Peter and Angela, and he's also with his partner, with his boyfriend, Lenny, who we meet towards the end of this scene. But there's also some kids riding
Oh,
in a motorboat.
oh no!
And it's the young girl at the front being like, I want to drive. And he's like, well, it's hard. It's kind of tough. I don't know if you can do it. And then finally they switch places. And apparently it is very hard to drive a motorboat because while pulling their skier friend, they just
Ridiculous.
plow straight on into John, Peter, and Angela.
I feel like there's a Bob's Burgers gag in which like one of the kids is learning how to ride a bicycle or a car or something, and it's like all you have to do is go left or right, and they're like going straight. All you have to do is go left or right. Just keep going straight. I swear to God.
Yes, it's when Tina was learning to drive, and she just keeps going as they're like getting close. That's fully this.
Yeah.
And then it culminates in one of the greatest lines of dialogue in any film ever. I mean, come at me, Orson Welles, when she just is in the, like, she emerges from underwater screaming, oh my God, we hit a boat.
You're like, no fucking shit. We have also, like, what is her boyfriend doing? Like, literally, like, here's the brake. Like, it's literally right there. It's right there.
And he hits the throttle instead when he
God.
tries to pull it back. He turns the throttle forward, not backward.
Listen, if this movie teaches us anything, it's that kids in Jersey. Is this Jersey?
Oh, this is so hardcore Jersey.
They are trumpeting every O.
Oh man. But then it's like, but also a little surreal because, you know, boat. And we're like, oh shit, well, there goes hot dad. Bye, hot dad. You're probably dead.
Mhm.
And then I swear what looks like a used tampon floats across the screen for a good 20 seconds. Like, it is. This movie has weird bursts of cheap surrealism.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's surreal or if it's cheap for cheapness sake.
Well, and that's a question that I have about the entirety of the film as a whole, right? There's all these queer elements, allegedly, depending on who you talk to. There's all these queer elements. There's those little random bits, and there's just so much sleaze. Like, this is a greasy, sleazy, you know, old time 42nd Street Grindhouse film. Like, this is very appropriate for Jersey in the 80s. Like,
Yeah.
and how much of the undercurrents are actual artistic choices? Does this film have artistic choices? But it's also very well done and funny and alluring. And it's such an enigma.
I had moments where I was like, I was kind of getting sent back to Night of the Living Dead. You know, because the whole story of Night of the Living Dead is they cast a black actor as the lead because literally he was the best actor that showed up to audition for the role. And then it becomes this, like, stance on race relations in the United States, and like it became a thing, and it, you know, holds up to this day. And I wonder if this movie is also like accidentally woke. Like, they're like, you know, which is kind of how I think about that movie. They're like, no, we were making a movie, we put one foot in front of the other. He was an awesome actor, we cast him. And this movie is like, yeah, we're gonna cast Beefcake, like Hustler magazine actors, or like, you know, Honcho magazine actors.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, have like women playing drag queens playing women.
Realtor
dollars.
Yeah.
Like, and then plus the ending, and they're like, yeah, no, this is what we came up with. It's gold, solid gold, you guys. And somehow now, you know, 30 years later, we're like, you know, like the LGBTQ community is like, yeah, I'm for it. You know, like, right on.
Yeah. We own this. Thank you for this gift. This is ours.
It does feel, from like doing some reading online too about just queer writers, thinkers' responses to this movie, horror lovers' responses to this movie. It does seem like that. It does seem like, yes, we can claim this and also feel like, especially what happens at the ending, what we know about the killer is also hugely transphobic. It is a hugely transphobic trope. It is right there in line with Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs,
It's
playing
like
at
Dress to Kill, Michael,
Yeah.
you know, like that sort of thing. Yeah.
but at the same time,
soap dish.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But at the same time, it can also be an extremely queer film or something that can exist in that space.
Well, and I think, my program that I do here in Portland, Queer Horror, like we've shown Sleepaway Camp, we've also shown Silence of the Lambs. Dress to Kill is something that I would love to screen. But like I feel like Dress to Kill and Silence of the Lambs, I think maybe this film is, because there's so much campiness throughout, because we have the cutoffs, because we have, little Ricky as like an angry Jersey car salesman, and you have
God. Ricky.
Ricky. You sons of bitches. Like because you have all these heightened elements.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
one feels easier to grapple with. It there's less grappling, more laughing, right? It's something that the community can embrace a little bit without as much like we don't need as much curatorial statements if we're going to show Sleepaway Camp versus like if you're if you're going to show Silence of the Lambs, like you really, or Dressed to Kill, like you have a conversation about where we were at generationally and culturally, but Sleepaway Camp, I think, by its own making, because it's just so absurd and so gross, you kind of give it some allowances, some extra allowances.
Laughter is the best lubrication when it comes to that shit, isn't it? Especially after a drink or two. You're like, whatever.
Yeah.
So this boat accident leaves one kid dead, and we see another kid still alive, but they both have the same hair color. There's no indication as to which one survived, which will be important later. But as we know it, it is Angela who survives, as we know it at this point in the movie, that Angela is young Peter who died and Angela who lived. And so we cut forward several years to 1983, and we've got 14-year-old Angela and her cousin Ricky. And we've got Aunt Martha, who is Ricky's mother. Aunt Martha, go.
I'm like, Anthony, how would you describe Aunt Martha?
I think exactly how you described her. It's a woman playing a drag queen, playing a woman, who is also playing a realtor, playing a doctor. What
From Tampa.
From Tampa. I don't understand anything about this character. I don't understand anything about this actor. I love her. I know that she passed away a couple years ago, and to that I say R.I.P. Perfect Queen, rest in power. I'm obsessed with you. People, for so long, people didn't know who this woman was. Like I often wondered, like, is she a drag queen? Is this an actual trans woman? Like what? Yeah. She's so heightened. I'm not saying, that anybody that's gender variant is heightened, but I'm like, this character just really comes off as like high camp, high. And the performances, when you look at the other performances in the film, like the kids are overtly shitty and blah, blah. The guys are gross. But this performance is almost like the Louise Lasser in Blood Rage performance within Sleepaway Camp, where there's like, she's delivering this performance from another planet. And we are just lucky enough that we got to beam into that transmission. It's astounding.
Snaps for whoever made the costume choices. Like,
yes.
In a what is already a pretty beige movie. No, that's it. The children are, if the acting of this film is like, you are going to be beige. This woman is like luscious lips, hot red.
Yes.
She's primary color beret and a canary yellow shirt, blouse. It's everything pops and is bright and is great. She feels like she's in a John Waters film almost.
Like, they're like, can we get Karen Black? No? Okay, just here, put the paint her nails. Put here. Go.
Find this realtor. Yeah, she feels very John Waters, but also visually, there's like, she dresses like a Looney Tune, like not like a euphemism, but like an actual like a Looney Tune character. Like I could see one of the ducks wearing that beret and that kind of
Pepe Le Pew is like
Huey, Dewey, Louie. Yeah.
yeah, and even the line readings when she has the I tied a ribbon on my finger.
oh my
Like
God,
it's
what?
just why does she scream half of her dialogue? One of my other favorites is, wasn't that nice of me? Like, what is this? Who is directing? Did Robert Hiltzik actually direct any of this movie, or did a sentient like elder god come back to life and possess him and tell her what to do? It's just astounding.
I wrote
You
down the
better just be
line
like,
about
"Okay."
tying a string because she says, I almost forgot. And then she pauses and she goes, oh, I tied a string around my, and then she holds her hand up, looks at her finger, my finger, so I wouldn't forget. It's
Oh.
just, it's beautiful.
Now, I'm going to let you all in on a secret that I have just learned about drag queens in general, but this is about just like if you ever want to take a good photo and you're with a drag queen, if you are a drag queen, or just want to be nails, it's all about nail placement in the photo.
Yep.
It automatically lifts you and makes you a little less two-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
I learned this by photobombing a drag queen in West Hollywood, California.
That's beautiful. Thank you for doing that service as well.
The more you know.
Little star wipe across the
Yep.
screen.
Yeah.
So,
but it's so true. Like she's playing for she's playing for a nighttime jazz club.
mhm.
Is like where she's doing her act, and these kids are like, "Oh, mom,
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
I've got."
She just came from entertaining at the Continental Baths, and now,
Yeah.
now she's gonna go misgender a child.
yeah, for years. Wait till your father gets home. Is father even alive? Where do I live? And she's bananas. She also has that ridiculous mid-Atlantic accent.
Oh, it's so good.
Which we're about ready to learn. The accents in this film are full throttle. And this accent, different direction, but still full throttle.
So Angela and Ricky are off to Camp Arawak
Whee!
for the summer. And so the thing about Angela is she is too shy to speak. She is, we know that she's dealt with this accident from her childhood, this terrible trauma. And she is at an age that makes sense to be super awkward and quiet, but she doesn't talk at all. So we get to camp.
She's a little next level.
She's a next level of not talking.
Like, are you a Sphinx? Are you?
I love that this movie like plays out who's the killer. I'm like, it's like
we have a character that thinks it's that you're like the world that like literally throttles a child almost to death. Because he doesn't understand what movie he's in.
So we're gonna meet Ricky's buddy Paul, who's an important figure in this film.
Oh,
Paul.
Sweet Paul.
He tries. Not well, but he does try.
Yeah, he does fail.
At times. And he does fail.
Tested and failed. He made out with Judy.
And we're gonna meet Judy. So one of the recurring things in this, obviously, because it's a teen camp movie, is the sex, the boys and girls being intrigued by sexuality, and the big note from Paul when he tells Ricky, "Hey, have you seen Judy?" And he makes gestures that she has boobies now. And Judy we learned that Judy and Ricky were going steady last year, and so he goes to see Judy, but she is over Ricky. She has moved on to bigger and better boys.
Literally bigger. Just like really just anything, like you got to be like this tall to ride this ride. Judy's like, go through your growth spurt, get your dad to teach you how to shave and come back around. All right.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Please.
Anthony, as someone who has never been to camp, this movie is not factual.
It's not? It's not
Listen,
really like this?
There are just, did you clock the extras in this movie? It is just children screaming and running. Just screaming and run, just screaming and run in all directions. I'm like, what the is the apocalypse? What is going on?
Yeah, we're about to watch The Rapture. What it's when you were at the camps, do they do the multi-generational, or not multi-generate, but it's multiple
Did we
class
get grandma
age?
at camp?
Yeah, grandma's there. Yeah, not multi-generational. Where there's like, you have the younger children.
That I think is true. It's kind of like a little middle school, a little like junior high. There is that
Okay.
kind of like we said, Jeffrey, like who's going through puberty, who's not there yet, who's going to be super tall and weird, who's going to be super hairy this year. Congratulations, it's you. There is a bit of that.
Yeah, and for like younger groups, you might have counselors who are, for like junior high or even like 10, 11-year-olds or something. You're going to have high schoolers as
Or college.
or college kids as camp
college
counselors. But yeah, the ages of who is in camp and who is a counselor are all over the fucking map here.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's absolutely, you've got, like Cecil, there's the tiny tots running, screaming, and then,
know, right?
and then full-on, fully grown used car salesman.
Yeah. Well, like Ricky and Angela both look 14 in this movie. Like they look like the age that they say that they are. And then you've got like other kids like Mozart, the kind of distracted, nerdy kid who also seems of that age. But then they're like playing ball with like Bill, who looks 26. People like that. So it's a little confused. And it's not just that they're playing ball. It's not that the counselors wouldn't come out and play baseball with the other boys or whatever. But like Bill is like betting these kids. Like he's like going hard after these kids in the way that another 14-year-old would. And there's no way Bill has been 14 prior to like 1973.
Well, maybe he was raised in the city,
Yeah.
It's a tough kid.
I think, that's something else that I find so appealing about this. Well, not that, but like what I find so interesting about this movie is that we get a camp slasher where, I mean, yes, the ages are all over the place, but we also have it predominantly populated by actual youth.
Mhm.
Versus,
Yeah.
like, Friday 13th, you kind of just see the camp counselors. Like, but the only other movie I can think of that really does that is The Burning, where you also have actual children and Jason Alexander. But like, it's, for the most part, it's so shocking and also sleazy in that film because you have actual youth like in peril potentially.
Yeah.
We also meet let's talk about the counselors in the girls' cabin, Meg and Susie, which are MEG.
MEG. You're like, oh, is that how you spell it? Meg? Yeah.
I thought there were two G's. I was curious.
No H?
Yeah.
So the kind of recurring theme of the moral, like when we talk about like super moralistic horror movies, especially of this time period, like the moral of this movie seems to be treat other people well, protect them, and be kind, or get your fucking back knifed open, basically. Yeah. Because the people who are good to Angela, like Ricky or Susie, people like that, are fine. They're going to be okay, at least in Angela's, eyes. She's not coming for them.
Give her take a severed head. But
yeah. But even like Paul, who is for the most part good to Angela, but also betrays her when he gets frustrated with her. And so that's why he's going to end up with just his head in her lap at the end of or his lap at the end of the movie. But Meg and Susie are so interesting because Meg is this raving lunatic. Like, she is psychotic. And she's clearly older than Judy, but at the same time is always on Judy's side. Like, she is Judy's hype man.
Listen, they hung out all the time at Paramus, all right? They hang out all the time. Their high schools are right next to each other. It's fine. They go way back.
I love them. I love their friendship. I'm so here for both of them.
You're such a mean girl. I love that you're team mean girl.
Yes. I'm toxic. Thank you. I'm absolutely toxic. If it's Meg and Judy, sign me the fuck up. I mean, are these not two of the most unpleasant in any slasher film? Like, I mean, slasher films really perfect the jerk.
Yeah.
But this film in particular, on top of its many other winning attributes, has two of the most just unbearable bullies. And
I love how like plain Meg is, and like lets Judy be the tacky one.
yeah.
But Meg is really the psychotic one. Like I love it. I love it.
The symbiosis. There's an exchange. One makes up where the other lacks. You know.
One is manic, the other's like it all works out. It's the circle of life. Yep.
And there's no real accountability from the top down leadership of this organization, because Mel, the owner of this camp.
Oh, now wait a minute. We got to talk about Mel, because I'm sorry, this is camp. This is a fucking drag queen, or excuse me, a drag king. In like old man drag, as far as I'm concerned, like doing Borscht Belt comedy. I would literally be opening my wallet if I saw someone do this on stage. Like just any of the joke, just the cigar. All the accents are. I was like, where are you from? Saratoga? What the fuck is happening?
His sheer disdain for like having a cook who's also a pedophile preying on children, like the killer running around murdering everybody. Just the amount of mental gymnastics this man is able to go through, ultimately leading to, for some reason, single-handedly like going full Ahab with little Ricky as his white whale, and like beating the shit out of like what?
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Everyone, it's like day one, camp, day one, dead. And he's like, how about if I just give y'all some extra money and it will just appear in your paycheck at the end of the week, and we just don't tell the kids' parents, all right? It's like, really?
Everyone in this movie falls onto a very clear binary of good or evil, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are moments where you're
comic
not
book.
sure where it's very comic book.
Yes.
Because so like you have Meg and Judy like really, really mad that like Angela just doesn't talk. She's weird. She just stares and doesn't talk. And listen, they're on to something with Angela.
Yeah, it's just, they're not wrong.
They didn't incite, but they escalated. How's that? But it's people like who's the big
Daisy
Italian
Dukes?
stallion, Ronnie.
Oh, Italian.
Yeah.
Light of my life.
It's Ronnie who comes to like talk to Angela about, let's see if we can get some more food for you. Why don't you go talk to the kitchen pedophile? And see if he can help you out.
And if not him, his assistant kitchen pedophile. If he's busy. And his name is Ratatouille.
He's got evil Ratatouille, Artie does, just pulling his hair, being like, all right, take off your belt.
What do you think he was going to put in that giant pot?
It's not too late for a reboot. It sounds ethically questionable, but it is not too late, you guys. Kickstarter's our friend.
So, he takes Angela to the kitchen, and this is going to be our first death, because basically we have Artie's like, well, I bet we could find something in the walk-in, and like corners her, starts to remove his belt when Ricky shows up and catches him. And Ricky, throughout this whole movie, is vehemently and violently protective of his cousin. I mean, Ricky's a good dude. He has some control issues, but he is definitely standing up for Angela at all.
Got a bit of potty mouth,
rage issues.
He does have some rage.
I love his fucking, the words that come out of his mouth are legit. When I lived in Brooklyn, I lived in an Italian neighborhood in Brooklyn, and this is like, I would walk into my local sandwich shop, and this was dialogue. Hey, you piece of shit. Me? You're the original piece of shit. Nah, forget about it. Actually heard that. And this kid is that, except at 15 years old.
Yeah, that's just the little tiny Polly Pocket version of that. It just makes me so happy, and it feels so authentic. Like, I'm like, where did they find this? Is he actually? I feel like he's 100% actually that. He probably didn't even have to read. they probably were like you, Cecil. They just heard him in a deli, and they
feel like, hey, you want to be in a movie? Like, hey, forget about it. Also, this, oh my God, the kitchen pedophile. I love it when the camp, like, it's pandemonium outside, and he's looking at these kids like eating what I thought was hair, but is in fact a piece of grass. I was very confused.
Right.
I was like, does he have a ponytail in his mouth. Oh no, that's grass. But he's like, look at these kids, like, hey, look at all this fresh chicken. Yeah. And I was like, does he want to eat them?
Ugh.
Is this what? Who is the bad guy in this movie?
Yeah, right.
Honestly,
It's all of New Jersey. It's
Mhm.
all the entirety of the state.
the
Yeah.
Garden State is.
Yeah, is there a hero? I mean, there's Ricky the Stallion Defender, but otherwise,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Artie is making stew in a pot that is 5 feet tall, which seems impractical.
No,
Is
he's
this a
gonna
real thing?
boil
I've never worked in a
corn.
kitchen.
He's boiling corn. They got to get the water to boil all this corn
Yeah, but how do you get that out? It is so tall.
with a pair of tongs.
With a pair
know,
of
just-
tongs.
what are those? What are the crane machines? And you,
Oh
you
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
the
he has to
engine.
put a
Put
quarter
a
in.
wall.
and then he just keeps dropping the corn.
Uh-huh. That's actually that's their food policy at the camp. They're
Yes.
like, each child has to step up, and if you don't, then you just don't eat.
Yeah, you don't get to eat. Come on, people.
Well, he's
But
standing
yes,
on
Jeffrey, very inefficient way to boil corn, I think.
it's just like, how do you? I don't understand how this pot works. But he's standing up on a chair, leaning over the corn. It's almost done in this boiling water, and the killer shows up. And the recurring thing with the killer is killer cam, and the person looking right
Yeah.
at them, being like, "Oh, it's you. What are you doing here?" And killer like tugs at the chair until it collapses, and he, rather than just jumping off the chair, a chair is 24 to what is a chair? 18 to 24 inches off the ground? Is that right? 24? I forget my measurements of a chair, but yeah, you could just jump to the side, sir. You do not have to like hang on to the top of the pot. And then the chair gets toppled. He pulls the pot down. It boils his skin for what feels like 15 minutes of him
Yes.
screaming.
Oh yeah, and it's like there's the big fatty hands just like come into screen like, you know, it just like
Love it.
boils. And keep in mind, there is literally one wall
Mhm.
between that room and where there are 500 people.
Yes.
Just remember that. Like, no one's coming in and out. This is a busy kitchen during lunch on the very first day of camp. No, oh no, he's gonna be basting for a minute.
There's no one else there.
Nope.
And
There's even
also-
a back door. Nobody walks by there.
No.
Fine.
He's still screaming when the ambulance takes him away. So I'm like, and the cops are
Oh.
there. Did they not ask, hey, sir, who did
Nobody
this to
noticed this?
you? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's
Plot
still
hole.
conscious.
I've never considered this plot hole.
Yeah,
Nor
he
have
is
I.
still
Yeah.
alive as they're taking him off on the stretcher. He's like, oh.
Even if you can't speak, just point.
You're like, can you tell me what happened? We've got a
Now-
long ride in the ambulance to wherever the nearest hospital is. So,
Oh, my God.
I mean, you're awake. Come on.
cough
this
it up.
this scene, par excellence, the dialogue in this scene
Oh.
that starts with like a man being carried away on a stretcher, and there's like some cop being like, I don't know. I mean, like, he was in so much pain. I just wish I could do anything for this guy. The amount of pain he was in. And that's the entire scene.
Yeah.
The entire scene is, oh, what a rough life that guy has. And that's the fucking cop. Like,
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yep.
yeah, it does.
Okay, so the boys all go to play baseball against Bill and whoever the fuck
Booty
the bad
shorts.
boys versus the
Booty
good
shorts.
boys. Yeah, booty
Yeah.
shorts Bill. It does have, I think, an oft quoted line from this movie, but it is a great line when Ricky is talking shit and Bill shouts, "Eat shit and die, Ricky," and he says, "Eat shit and live, Bill." And I think that's a very solid comeback.
Like,
The end. Yeah, I think it's good.
is he not? Why are we not putting him up there in the great halls of the great philosophers? You know, like
He's
Little
the next
E.
Shakespeare.
What is the
yeah,
sound
Shakespeare.
of one
Rick-
hand clapping?
If I were to eat shit and live, would I rather be dead
Yes.
than to live?
You guys, like, after, like a few hits from the bowl, I thought about this line for hours afterwards. Hours. I'm outside. It's a beautiful night. And I'm like smoking a joint or like, I'm like, which is worse? Life is shit. But then you die. Like I was going through it.
Mm-hmm.
Jean-Paul Sartre, move
Yeah.
over.
That's
Tiny
right.
man full of rage, but also full of insight.
Listen,
That's
he's a
right.
man of the streets, Ricky.
Yep. Yes,
A real Foucault he is.
Just the fucking names in this one. Ricky, Judy, Meg, Ronnie, like
Angela.
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 Like as soon as, because I'm going all the way back to the credits for this tangent. But I love movies that have names that no one is named anymore. You know, like the 2000s was all the Britneys and the, like the E names. But there is an 80s moment that's happening with Angela and Judy.
Where you would name a child Bill. You would name a boy Bill. I'm going to call this cute little 7-year-old Bill.
Bill. Yeah, I know, right? Not Billy.
Not Billy.
No.
Bill.
We're going to name this kid Bill.
I need those GPS reports on my desk ASAP, Bill. And he's like,
Bill.
I'm 4.
You're like, I'm 6 months old, sir.
What
I
shall we
barely
name
have
this
object
child so he
permanence.
will be humorless.
Yeah.
So, well, we get into when Bill and the boys are like eyeing Angela at this shitty dance that they're at. And again, like this line from, I forget the blonde-haired guy's name, the stoner, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever. Frank.
Football quarterback dude.
Yeah.
He gets up to Angela and he says, "What's the matter? Can't you talk?" It's brilliant.
Like coffee talk?
Yeah.
There is a lot of distrust of mutes.
Yeah.
Of the voiceless, I should say.
Yeah. Well, this is why I think, I'm speaking in all seriousness, besides the camp of this film. I think this is why, like, we can reclaim this movie because Angela does nothing. She is the motherfucking Gandhi of Camp Arawak.
Mhm.
She's like, I will not escalate. I will not. Like, I would rather throw my body on a fire than be a part of this illegal and immoral war, Mr. President. And everyone, you know what she is? Have you ever read Bartleby the Scrivener by Herman Melville? She's fucking Bartleby.
Wow.
She's a Bartleby.
Damn, that's a
like all
deep-ass
Bartleby
read
does in
on
this short story is say, no thanks. I would prefer not to.
I love this read.
Yeah.
She is pure Zen. Like which is such an interesting thing because she's like a trans girl. Like she's like black, but everyone else is perceived just like she's like, I don't fucking know why they keep shouting at me. All I'm doing is just living.
Yeah.
I think there's something really deep to this too. When we get to the end, not to fast forward, but when we get to the revelation and we get the face and the kind of thing, like she has been pushed. We could argue she has been pushed to a brink, an edge. Yeah. But yes, in terms of what depiction we get before that reveal, we get a sweet, voiceless angel who is at the mercy of a bunch of Jersey dogs.
Yeah. That has a really sweet, that has somebody, like, we know she has a friend and her cousin, so she's not evil all the time.
She has an ally and a protector who loves her and cares about her and probably knows a little bit more about her, unlike the viewer at that moment. And yes, she's very Hannibal Lecter. She only eats the rude. She only kills you if you're a jerk.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not trans. I can't say whether or not this is transphobic, but like, when I think there's, we could talk about how the ending is filmed. We can talk about the revelation of the anatomy, but like, in terms of her as a killer, I'm like, I'll take her. I want a trans Avenger who's just gonna kill jerks.
Like, I would kill Judy's all day.
Yeah.
All motherfucking day. And
All
then
day.
steal her lipstick and then steal her bubblegum lip balm.
Yeah, cut off that ponytail, use it as a sleeve.
Like, what are those little ball bangles that she had? Oh my god,
they're so good.
Those are literally the best.
So boys want to go skinny dipping, and they want the girl. This is the most amazing scene where the boys try and get all the girls to come out and go skinny dipping at night.
What?
And the girls are like, not really. And then Bill just gets mad and he's like, well, we don't need you anyway. Come on, boys. And then they take off their trousers and all jump in the lake together.
Like,
You showed them, Bill.
Yeah, you really did. You maybe you should just called her a faggot, and then she would have showed her.
Just adding to the airs of homoeroticism over this film.
Yeah.
What has happened? And then we get the repeating shots of tidy
all the Y fronts.
Yeah.
Wet see-through tidy whitey. Like, what is happening?
Well, one of the things about watching this movie, thinking about the other sort of like 80s slashery films that I think this movie does so different, that made me think it has like a knowing nod to queerness in its creation, was the fact that you see more male nudity. You see all these boys' butts, and there's no female nudity in this movie.
No.
And we even have a shower scene with a woman in a shower who does not spend 20 minutes washing her boobs like the beginning of Carrie or something like that. There is no like leering camera on the woman's body. And so I thought that was a really interesting thing about this film, because I'm not sitting here congratulating a movie for not having female nudity, but for the time that it was in and the type of movie that it is, this is a movie where you expect to see a woman showering for 90 straight seconds.
If you don't
only cleaning her tits.
If you wax on, wax off. If you don't see that in the first, what is it? The first 90 seconds or something, especially that era, like how many viewers are going to tune out? It's quite ballsy.
Yeah, it really is. Well, it's Kenny who is flirting with another girl named Leslie, and they go out for a canoe ride. And Kenny was one of the ones,
if you will.
Yeah, that's right. He was one of the ones hounding Angela just a minute ago. And Kenny's an asshole, and he goes out for this ride with Leslie. He's like, you know that there are deadly snakes out here in the water. I hope you can swim. And then he starts rocking the boat until the canoe tips over. And she's like, you're a fucking asshole. Swims back to shore. And while he's out there in the water, he, for whatever reason, gets underneath the tipped over canoe and is making noises under there. He's like, hey, what are you doing here? Bloop, drowned.
Now, so comparing this film to other 80s slasher camp flicks, all these deaths are violent.
Mm-hmm.
But very few, it's no slasher, this film. Because
just one knife death.
Right? It's very intricate. It's like stylish, one might say, these deaths are. It's also like deaths that someone who is physically smaller or weaker has to outwit the enemy. Because I was, as of around this time, I was like, okay, here we go. Friday the 13th part, whatever, 3, the canoe, the mystery canoe. Beth?
Right.
Beth? Oh, stop playing jokes, Beth. That whole spiel. That's not this. There's a bit of snare and trap to our killer's motive. It's a bit smarter. It's not a knife through the heart through a bunk bed. I don't know. It's really interesting. And I forgot that there's that aspect to this. You don't see blood almost at all in this film. So as a horror flick, as a camp slasher flick, it's very unique.
Oh, absolutely an outlier. So what you're saying, what I'm hearing from you, Cecil, is that Angela is an artist who overcomes the obstacles and the odds.
Listen, I would say they are the art that she is creating.
Thank you.
When she's sitting there with her, kind of, wishy-washy boyfriend's head, she's like, I will paint you later.
This is a found art object.
That is. She's like, I'm going to Tish next year.
That tracks.
So Paul is really into Angela now. He was the nice boy at the dance that previous night, right? Who really talked to her, kind of said, I'm really sorry about what happened to your family. I'm sorry that people are kind of a jerk to you here. And even had said told her funny stories about funny to a 14-year-old, I'm sure.
This one time at band camp stories.
Yeah, that sort of thing. We ran some girls' panties up a flagpole. Oh, sorry about that.
Ugh. And she's like, Angela mad.
But at the end of that night, when he has to go back to his cabin, when it's getting to be lights out, he says, well, good night, Angela. And she says, good night. And it's the first words we hear out of Angela for this movie. Very cute. And it clearly makes Anthony's friend Judy very mad. Very mad.
The fact that how quickly Judy can just like smell it, you know, and she just zeroes in on somebody else getting attention.
She's so petty.
Revelatory.
And just bored. And really just like, oh, what am I going to do today? You will be my project today. I will destroy you.
Yeah, she has nothing going on, does she?
She really doesn't.
It's actually quite sad.
The next day, Judy and Meg are both like hounding Angela because she's talking to Paul again, and Paul's asking her to be his date to the movie night at the main cabin or whatever that evening. And Meg's like, if you're not going to play we have to play volleyball. If you're not going to play volleyball, you don't get to talk to boys. You sit there and you do nothing. And it's Susie who's like, I think she can just talk to boys. I
love Susie because Susie is like the hippie nice girl.
She's the good
I didn't
one.
even know her name, but she literally, her only function in this movie is to like come in from camera left and be like, hey, now wait a minute. Stop, you guys.
Yeah.
She's the after school special that made its way, wandered in every now and then.
Yep. She does it like 4 times in this movie, though.
Yeah.
She's like, Angela, Meg, come on, you two stop fighting.
Also, there's a moment after that movie that night that they come out of there and they're having a great time. And he's like, can I walk you to your cabin? Sure. And he does the old trick of like, come over here. I want to show you something. And around the corner of the cabin, he steals a kiss. And he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, you didn't, because she doesn't even react. Like she doesn't kiss back. She just looks, she goes back into her like catatonic state. And he's like, can I have another? And he does it again. And she's like, yo, I gotta go. Like fucks off inside the cabin.
She's like, lights out.
A little awkward.
We have. Paul somehow still feels very confident about this relationship though. But the we also get, let's see, let me pause just a second. We have this kind of ongoing thing about getting Angela into the water. This is one of the things Judy keeps hounding her about because she won't go swimming with the other people. And she's like, to the point of like tears, she's so mad that Angela will not go swimming. Judy and Meg are amazing to me because they're so mad that somebody else will refuse to play by the rules. And I think it's a very real thing. I've seen it happen in real life, not to this extent and not for an entire personality, but you see this especially in younger kids where like things aren't going your way and you want somebody else to behave in the correct fashion.
Or in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the latest season, Kathy Hilton, no one will do a conga line, and Kathy Hilton wants to do a conga line, so then she has to start shit and traumatize Lisa Rinna and go off on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So even adults, even rich hotel heiresses.
Yeah.
I
can't believe it. No one.
It gets to the point where Meg like is so frustrated with Angela that she starts shaking her, and Ronnie, the Italian stallion, has to jump in and be like, you've gotta not do that to the campers.
Like, what? Do we need to call OSHA?
Yes. Yeah, call somebody.
Because like there's like 3 people dead now.
Yeah.
Almost.
I mean, this is the state that gave us Action Park. So
that's right.
Any type of summer activity in New Jersey
Anything
in the
goes.
1970s or 80s is a bad idea.
Anything goes.
So really, I mean, when you put it in those terms, really, this is not untrue to life.
I know. Given what I've read and seen about Action Park in New Jersey in the 70s and 80s, no, this seems like people were like, fuck it.
Just incredible. That documentary blew my mind.
What is OSHA? Let's do a water slide that does a full one. It's like 360 loop to loop.
Oh, shit. That'll be fine. Walk it off, kid.
It could be designed to break your neck.
So we've got another moment where we're watching Mel and Ricky, this relationship, because Mel knows we've already had Kenny drowned, already got burned alive, and he is seeing Ricky again defending Angela vehemently with cuss words and threats of violence to Bill and the other boys for hitting Angela with a water balloon. And it's Mel, who you start to see, it's clicking with him. Like,
Mel.
there must be a killer here. And I think I know which boy it is.
I love his reasoning, which is like, I was running the camp way back when. Could it be he's come back to get me? Like, somehow Mel makes this all about him, which I love, to be honest.
It's beautiful.
This is not the most inexplicable moment in this movie, but it would be in a normal film, which is one of the ways that somebody dies is Bill, while sitting in the toilet, somebody bars the door and then throws a beehive, an active beehive in there, and the bees essentially eat his face.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which is what bees do.
Jeffrey, how do bees work?
How do bee work?
How does that happen? I'm also like, you can just crawl under. No, oh no, the shorts will absolutely not let you do it. Like girl,
No.
I'm having a light salad for lunch if I'm wearing those shorts.
You're right. It is a mobility issue with the shorts. That's the only
Yeah.
That's got to be it, because this boy is very athletic looking, and that door is made out of 1/4-inch plywood.
Oh my god,
it is not even plywood, it is particle board. It is easily broken. You can snap through that, and it's held by a wooden broom handle.
Yep. Unbreakable.
I love how the bees have it's like bees, and again, the makeup is really good in this movie. I think the makeup is really, the scare makeup it has set pieces. It's not squirt blood here, squirt blood. It's like, no, you're gonna see a very well produced shot of something gruesome or gloppy or gloopy.
Yeah,
but you're only gonna see it once, so
it's a stylish move. It's as stylish as the cutoffs.
Yeah, with the belt.
Yep.
Cutoffs with a belt.
With the belt.
That man's going places.
Cutting edge.
Angela and Paul get back together and they go to the beach, and there's a moment here, by the way, when Paul first comes up to Angela and scares her. We do the whole killer cam look as Angela's creeping around. He goes, "Oh," she says, "Oh, I thought you were the killer." And again, we're trying to imply plot-wise, we're trying to put the viewers off the scent of who could possibly be the killer. But the other thing is, this camp goes on day to day, and we keep seeing Mel disguise the deaths of that he got sick and had to go home, or Artie just left his job.
He'll take over this bunk or that.
Yeah, this is all but clearly the kids know people are being killed,
or just
and at no point in time. Yeah,
they're not even killed. They're just being disappeared.
But she says, "I thought you were the killer." So clearly,
I guess.
And Paul kind of goes along with it. He's like, "I'm not worried about the killer." And so again,
how do you know there's a killer?
The children know, because kids know, and they spread these things. At this point in the camp, the kids would all be like, "We need information. What is happening?"
Yeah. Oh yeah, picketing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but they go to the lake. Oh, go ahead, Cecil.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, they also send a satellite group
out into the woods just to camp.
Just out in the woods for a night. I was like, no, wait, pause this. I had to have a little talk with my morality, with my own sense of moral justice, of who is what the, because that would be my job if I were a camp. Be like, I don't want to play volleyball with a goddamn one of you. Come on, 7 at a time. Let's go. Sleep on this rock. I don't back in the morning. I'll take 7 more tomorrow. That would be my job.
I don't remember the year that it happened. I mentioned it on the show in an earlier episode, but the McDonald's coffee case, the massive burns that happened, and the big lawsuit. That lawsuit, I think, was early 90s. It was maybe 89, 90, 91, somewhere around there, I think. But anyways, somewhere in there was really the beginning of the national conversation and hysteria around frivolous lawsuits or tort reform and things like that.
Yeah.
And so at this point in 1983, I don't think we were thinking about lawsuits. Whereas if this movie were filmed in 1993 instead of 1983, Mel's character there'd be no movie, because Mel would be like, "Shut it down, close and shop. I do not want to be sued."
Yeah.
But I don't think we were thinking about being sued for wrongful death or mismanagement of a camp in 1983.
Or Twitter, how quickly they would all be canceled.
Can you imagine if there were cell phones in this movie? Like I would watch I will watch a remake of this movie only if there's like someone is just like live tweeting everything, like not part of the action. It's just like sitting back and just tweeting the entire thing to like their friend back in, Paramus.
Yep.
The weird girl that doesn't talk is carrying a stick with a beehive on it for some reason.
Yeah, how did they not see her in broad daylight?
Yeah, who's not watching these things? But what I'm also hearing in here is not only is she an artist and a trans Avenger, but she also is a mistress of misdirection.
Oh yeah, tricky.
Yeah.
Oh, killer. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen,
is there a Mr. Direction?
Oh, Lord. Oh, Ricky.
So Paul and Angela go to the beach and they fall into each other's arms on the beach and start to kiss. And Paul is starting to like grab at her shirt buttons and she's like, no, not at all. Please do not. And he's like, what? I'm not doing anything. But as he's kissing her, she has a flashback to her and Peter, or her and Angela as kids, watching their two dads, or watching their dad and his boyfriend making out together on the set of some soap opera. I'm not sure like what this the gauzy lighting and everything of this scene.
That is an Inches magazine set.
Okay, great.
Is what that would be in that brass bed.
Well, I say these guys are making out. They're not. They're just bare-chested in bed and touching each other's chests.
Listen, it's enough for me.
Like honestly, I know. I'm like, yeah, on repeat.
Yeah.
Ooh, with like the gauzy lighting, like fucking Barbara Walters just rolled up and went smear, smear, smear. All right, faggots, time to make out. And
Barbara Walters was the set dresser and did the onset into
the nails. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, into
oh my god,
choreographer. She was like,
they're like, get Barbara. We need Barbara on the set, and she's like, what?
Yeah, not a lot of people know that she was uncredited on this.
Really, that's really fascinating. I didn't know.
Yeah.
This is such an interesting flashback that in Angela's head, because she's remembering her and her sibling as a kid, right? Pointing and sort of giggling at these two men making out. And it's haunting her in this present moment where she and Paul are kind of in a similar position where she's on her back like her dad was in that scene, and Paul is leaning over her and touching her chest, and she's like, no, and just runs the fuck away. It's a really interesting bit of like trauma memory of what? Yeah, it's very strange. We're entering into the homophobia, transphobia territory at this point, really strong.
Also, I'd like to say that we'll talk about uncredited. Stranger Things just lifted so much off of this movie. Like there are literally shots where Angela looks like 11. Like the casting of looks like Angela, and also this idea of the like black. I mean, yes, in Sleepaway Camp it does look a little, Honcho magazine and a little less Netflix. But it's this idea of like going into like, in Eleven's like weird, psychic other space. It is that black space.
Oh my God, you're 100% correct. And even Eleven's like kind of lack of speech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like she's the quiet girl. She's the quiet sphinx that these kids have to unravel, that adults will never understand because they don't want to take the time to unravel her.
See, in the like the remote viewing black space that 11 goes into, I had always kind of just because visually I thought I had never seen something like that since before, like what was it, Scarlett Johansson and Under the Skin, and
it's the mirrored floor, the water floor.
The mirrored floor, and then she sucks the boners into the floor. Like it's like that kind of, I thought that was the closest thing I'd seen to that. But you're right, it is in fact the Inches film set designed by Barbara Walters.
Shot in New Jersey.
Yep. Wow.
So the next day, Angela's still rebuffing Paul a little bit. Like she's still weirded out by the previous night. And Judy is tracking this. And so Judy is going to make the play at Paul just to piss Angela off. And you know,
Somebody's got to stir the pot.
and you can see Paul starting to be like, yeah, I mean, she is kind of a prude, right? Pot way up here.
Yeah, the 12-foot tall pot.
Yeah, the 12-foot tall corn pot.
Corn pot. That's my new favorite cuss word.
Corn
like whenever
pot.
I stub my toe, I'm just like, corn pot.
Hey, you corn pot.
Like old man, like shaking my fist out my car, driving around.
So then we get to another swimming day and Judy hounding Angela to go for a swim. How about we get that beautiful body in the water? And Meg shows up. Meg, agent of chaos. If Judy is agent of evil, Meg is agent of chaos.
Beelzebub.
Meg just comes in,
Satan.
fucking grabs Angela, takes her down to the water, and Ricky sees this, but he can't stop because Mel has him cornered, being like, "You're the killer," and he's trying to hold him back.
Are we are we in a Borscht Belt Yiddish comedy? Like, it's like,
Yes!
I almost, like, I expected to stand up and be like, look behind you. So dumb. So dumb.
Yeah, Mel tells Ricky, "You killed them to destroy me, didn't you?"
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. It's so I can get your rings, to be honest.
That everyone wants his Lucky Charms.
Oh, God.
But Ricky gets out there and saves Angela, digs her out of the pool. And as they're walking away, a group of tiny kids start throwing sand at them and laughing. I'm like, oh, I'm looking forward to this. And it will come true. They will get their comeuppance. No dessert for a week, boys.
Yeah.
Or longer. Okay. I think the most confounding moment of the movie for me is this. It's when they send the group of campers off, like, hey, some of the folks want to go out in the woods tonight.
That's my
so
job.
counselors are going out with them.
Yeah.
And then Meg and somebody else have the night off tonight. And Meg's like, great, I have the night off. She walks right over to Borscht Belt Mel and is like, hey, remember that dinner you promised me?
Oh,
Shall I come to your place? How's 9? All right, see you then. And she is legitimately excited looking, like she's got to get in the shower and get cleaned up for Mel.
And Mel has that, like, oh, hey. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. I thank you for reminding me of this moment, Jeffrey, because I literally blocked it out of my memory.
Same.
No, you did the right thing. Y'all did the right thing by blocking it out. It stuck with me and it's so upsetting.
So unexpected. When we have already been subjected to so many I was going to say abuses of power, but just abuses of humanity, of film, of New Jersey. You know, there's so much that we have already seen go horribly wrong. And now we're told, and Meg of all people?
I know, Meg with a G.
M-E-G. But
You're better than this,
perhaps
Meg.
this is showing us, you know, the deeper psychiatry, that why she is so broken and must take things out on Angela. Perhaps. I don't know. Does this film have a grasp on psychology? But it does. It shouldn't, but it does.
It's like, this movie is like, okay, basics. Listen up. This is what's going to happen if you fuck with the queer kids. All right?
Yes!
This should literally be like, are you a basic?
Yes.
Then you probably identify with one of these core characters. Don't fuck with the queer kids, because they will kill you if you push them too far.
And interesting,
Star wipe, the more you know.
Because all slasher films, particularly from this era, are like really, you know, they're morality plays, right?
Yeah,
so like when we look at the revelation of the trans Avenger killer, murderess, murder murdertrix, murderatrix, Angela, murderatrix, Empress of the Planet Earth. But when you look at that, and then look at like, okay, some of the like the film doesn't. I don't know. We could say by the final shot that it judges her, that we're supposed to be afraid of her, but also I feel empowered by her. But then you look at these other characters and their relationships, and there's like this twisted camp counselor versus old guy camp owner, Borscht Belt abuse of power. But then you also have like the pedophile. and they are the ones that must die. But
Yeah.
the one that gets to live, who we follow throughout the film, is what we are told is like should be considered worse than that. But I don't know that the film actually believes that. It's fascinating to me.
I feel like the film gives lip service. She's like, Angela is the antagonist because she's the killer, but its heart is like she's making all the right moves.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's moralistic in a different moral direction than, say, Friday the 13th was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Meg goes to take the shower, and knife comes through the
No,
back. Oh,
we
sorry.
gotta the nondescript humming that goes on for the length of at least 4 minutes. I was like, girl, what is that? Could you not get the rights to Happy Birthday? What the literal fuck? What are you? Shut up. Kill this bitch.
I'd forgotten that too, and my thought in the moment
for a while
was my thought in the moment was it was an actor who's like just hum, just do a shower, and that's the choice she made, and she started humming, and she thought the effect was going to happen sooner.
Yeah,
and she was just wasting time, and the editors of this movie just didn't think to take any of that out. They're like,
they
it's
kept
fine,
it
we'll
all.
just use the whole scene.
All of it.
Yep. 30 minutes later of just Meg humming. Humming her own tune.
So she gets knifed in the back, blood.
Which is also kind of weird. It like goes through the wall.
I think it's like one of those
curtain?
like plastic, like full, like single unit shower things.
But it's a good fake out because we're thinking, of course, duh, shower curtain. But it goes like through the back of the shower wall, which again, crafty.
Mm-hmm.
And another demonstration of at least arm strength or upper body, something.
Yeah.
Like she just stabbed somebody through a wall. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So Angela and Paul run into each other again. She had seen him being kissed by and reciprocating that kiss with Judy. And so he's like,
but honestly, how could he ever resist?
That's right. He's like, I'm so sorry. I know what I did was wrong. Yeah.
That hair. Oh my God, like a poodle.
And disgusting hair. I love.
And she makes him feel so much better by saying, listen, just meet me at the waterfront tonight after the social.
Girl,
he's like, awesome.
Pranked. You're gonna get no.
You're gonna get deadly pranked.
You're gonna get dead.
Yep.
You will become art this evening. I promise.
Come to my master's thesis defense.
It's called the Murder Box. Welcome to Murder Box.
Social practice.
So these other campers are out in the woods, and it's the little kids out camping.
So dumb. This is so it really makes me cry. It's so dumb. Like, why? Tonight of all nights.
Why?
And also, they have nothing. No fire, no food. Like, no sleeping. They're literally just like children on rocks. No, they do have sleeping bags.
Yeah.
But I was like, what the fuck?
Isn't that not a buffet for like a hungry brown bear or something wandering?
No, the bear wants your nachos more than anything else.
That's true.
They don't really care about you. But Angela, she's all hopped up off of murdering Meg, and we get killer cam, and this is, you guys, like, what happens to these camp counselors? What actually happens to these children?
Counselor guy, Eddie, or whatever his name is, he goes off to to get their stuff, because the little kids, these 4 kids or whatever, like, we're cold, we want to go back, this is boring, blah, blah. He's like, fine, we will go back to the campsite, let me go get our stuff together, I'll be right back. And that's when Killer Cam Angela shows up, sees the axe on the ground, and just stares right at the kids who are staring back. And it's later when Eddie gets back to the campsite, we just see chopped up sleeping bags with ground beef in them.
What did they ever do?
Well, they threw sand on her at the lake.
Those were the sand kids.
Those are the sand kids. This movie is good and evil. You treat people bad, you're gonna get axed up in your sleeping bag.
When you're good to Angela.
When you're good to
Angela's
Angela.
Good to you.
Good to you.
Yeah, that's right. They should write a song about that.
Said. She wrote those words.
So let's talk about Judy's end.
Oh my God, it's so brutal.
It is, but it's all in the mind. Like, we don't really know how she met her in, which I kind of like.
That's true.
It's Judy alone. Like, she and Stoner Football Man were making out, and she has the
she
funny
tells him to
line,
stop kissing so wetly.
"Do you have to kiss
Ugh.
so wet?"
And I was like,
He's like,
And,
"I'm
like, you almost expect
hydrated,
her to, like,
okay?"
take the gum out of her mouth and be like, next.
And all we see is this. Well, we see the person approach, and then we see their outline in the door.
Yes,
which is
are kind of like but in like a backlit,
yeah,
and it's like broad shoulders, boyish haircut, but still like it's. We see the killer. And
it looks exact. I think it's just Ricky backlit, right? Like, I think they tried to
to make it look like Ricky. It does look like Ricky backlit in that moment,
but with the wiggest of wigs. Like, I mean, like a blind man with like fucking kindergarten scissors, and threw it into a bottle into the ocean, and they went to the Jersey Shore and picked up that wig, dusted it off, and put it on this person.
You know my wig maker.
It's the wig. It's the wig that Artie was chewing on at the beginning.
That's what it was.
He's like, I'm almost done. Here we go.
I'm almost through with that.
Yeah, gotta cook up some corn.
But the way we see, I will just describe visually what happens, and then I want your opinions on what actually happens. What we see is, in silhouette, the killer approach. We do see them put a pillow over Judy's face and then reach down and grab the curling iron, which is on. And then from the shadow, we see the curling iron jaw open and dive down toward where Judy's body would be. It's all in silhouette. And then two hands go up in like claws on the wall and scream.
That's hot.
And later, when one of the other camp counselors, I think it's Susie, finds her, she's like, "It's so gruesome." How did she die? How was Judy killed?
I mean, she went the way of Edward II, right? She got the hot iron rod right up the pudenda.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what happened?
I was so dumb. I didn't know that those were curling irons. I was like, I thought it was like a scissors. What are those, forceps? I was very confused.
They're her hot tongs that she uses.
Tongs to get the dinner roll next to the. It's right next to the red gravy.
I really didn't know that they were. Yeah, until you just said it right now.
Okay, so
you can't die from that.
No, you can be
that would
seriously
be really
injured.
Unpleasant.
Yeah.
Well, they say that's how Edward II died. I mean, I'm sure they did.
He got like a hot poker up his asshole. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
At least
they were
according to
also like
Christopher
torturing him to death. I mean,
yeah.
They probably did other things as well.
Yeah. I mean, I guess sepsis would set in pretty fast if you did that. But yeah.
Also, how is she silent? Like the pillow over I guess, but
oh, you would hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you would hear that. I mean,
smell it before you hear it. You would smell it. You're like, somebody making bacon.
You hear the sizzle.
So, you know what they say? Sell the sizzle, not the steak.
That's right.
Here we go.
That's what they say.
The steak that we seared with a curling iron.
Yeah.
While holding it under a pillow.
Oh, it's so brutal.
Mel finds Meg's body, which chooses that, even though she's dead, it chooses that moment when he arrives to fall out of the shower. It has been standing dead the entire. I guess maybe it was skewered by the knife to the wall, but no, the killer took the knife. I don't know how Meg was still standing.
I love these body physics, killer party body physics, where it's just like Slumber Party Massacre when they open the fridge and the body like starts to slumps out, and then they shut the fridge and the body just slumps right back up. Nobody knows how body physics work.
No, doors don't have latches.
No,
nothing.
Okay, so he is now he knows it is Ricky, and so he goes and tracks Ricky down. Ricky's just like, Ricky,
what the fuck? Hey,
Ricky's just trying to eat he's just trying to eat a bag of Oots and Reese's peanut butter cup.
My Babe Ruth, all right.
And Mel beats him. I just wrote, did he kill him? He did not. We will find out soon enough that he is just injured. But Mel beats the shit out of Ricky and then stands up right in front of a well-lit archery target.
Oh my God. It's you, he says to someone off camera. Classic.
And I love that we never set up that anybody was doing archery in this movie. This is just a Friday the 13th call out, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that what we're doing?
Yeah.
And also, again, you just have to go left or right. Left or right. Just not forward. That's literally the only option. You don't have to choose. And you won't die.
I mean, this is the problem with Prometheus, was Charlize Theron. If she had just run to the left or right.
I know.
Don't continue to run under the path
Go
of
run under the
donut.
donut.
Yeah, no.
Like literally make a left. I saw, oh God, we watched Swamp Thing. And I was like, Adrienne Barbeau, why are you running away from a car on a road?
Barbeau should know.
Barbeau should know. Get in that swamp.
Okay, so now
tagline for Swamp Thing.
I'm contacting our merch people as we speak. Barbeau should know.
So now Eddie has found the chopped up kids and he's called back to the campsite. And Ronnie, the Italian stallion, gets the phone call, and now he knows about their dead kids. Now he's like, our solution is, instead of, the cops are there too, instead of our solution be like, let's all come together in public as a large group. Everyone go to your cabins. Everyone split up.
Oh my God.
Isolate further.
Bed check. Well, I could see that. I mean, admittedly, that is the way, because then you go, cabin 1, all accounted for. Cabin 2, all accounted for. Cabin 3, we got some missings. So I get it.
Yeah.
But pandemonium, like, it is like true chaos right now. Like, people are disappearing. I love when Mel goes up to Judy. It's like, hey, have you seen Meg around? She's like, yeah, she left a little bit after dinner. Okay. Knowing full well that she is dead.
Yeah.
Like, fully knows that she's dead now.
Yep.
So maybe Jeffrey, I think I'm with you on this one. Like, a bed check would be smart yesterday. Today,
yes.
Exactly.
Everyone
put them
out.
all in the middle of a giant field.
Camp is over.
Yesterday.
But in defense of not gathering around the cops and assuming you're safe around the cops, and I'm not even going to make a political statement about the safety cops provide in this country, I'm going to specifically talk about this cop who has a mustache made out of electrical tape. Jeffrey, it is two strips of electrical tape on either side of his nostrils, and I almost fainted. Look at that shit.
This is going up on my Instagram. This is the only picture I took of this movie because it is so, and this picture doesn't do it justice.
My cats ran out of the room. I was screaming so loud at this moment.
That's beautiful.
I'm like, Carol, look at that.
Maybe he had no access to a affordable mustache to pay, and this was the best he could come up with, you guys.
Well,
Judy, Artie was making all the hair.
I think Judy the wig maker is branching out into a male and female boutique.
Yep.
Oh my God. So I can understand why they didn't want to go right to the cops for help and support in this moment.
Yeah.
So Angela, we see a quick shot of Angela on the beach. We just see Paul's head in her lap, but we don't see the whole scene yet.
I love this.
And they're finding
so sweet.
And now we've got
beautifully shot.
Yeah, it's really beautifully shot. And we have two of our counselors, there's a whole scene, where they find Meg's body, they found whoever else,
like the
Judy's
fucking
body, whatever.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
It's like literally everyone has to come together and be like, oh no. And now, and literally the camera focuses
on Angela and Paul on the beach, and it's just her from the back, his head on her lap, and then gauzy flashback with Aunt Martha. And she is there with the young boy named Peter, and she has his hair pulled back. He's got the rag on his, he's basically got the cap on for preparing for the wig. And she is like, it's such a tragedy what happened to your father and to your sister, but I already have a son. I don't want to raise another girl, or I already have a son. I don't want to raise another boy. I've always wanted a girl.
I mean, honestly, and what did she say? She's like, honestly, it's better that like it evens out. I was like, what? Huh? Like it just shouldn't be done. What? What'd you say?
Well, it's like she's like Yoda, always two there are.
Yeah, that's right.
A boy and a girl.
Yeah. It's classic.
And so we know in this moment that Angela, the girl at the boating accident at the beginning, was the one that died, not Peter. But Peter was raised by Angela, as Aunt Martha says, it's a great name because it's Angel. You are my little angel, aren't you? So we know now Peter was raised as a
By a drag queen.
Yeah, by a drag queen.
I don't think this tracks long term, like especially when we think about like Ricky, but there was a part of me that for a long time, when I first saw this movie and I was just high thinking about it, like there was a part of me that always wondered if the surviving dad didn't become Aunt Martha.
What?
And then was just like broken and twisted. Because I'm like, but that was back when I kind of read Aunt Martha more as like a drag queen.
Yeah.
And I was
So
I was always so curious if that was part of it, but I think it's just not the case. But I that's my not canon fanfic read.
Oh yeah. But I mean, but listen, can you imagine what growing up in Aunt Martha's house was like? Listen.
Incredible.
Like flowers in the attic levels of incredible.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100% VC Andrews Disneyland.
Yeah.
I read a lot of great articles coming into watching this movie because I wanted to think about that element that we've talked about in this episode already. But I'll put a link in the show notes. There was a great article by a queer horror writer named BJ Colangelo that is a great follow on Twitter. But they wrote an article for Dread Central that kind of sums up, I thought, kind of a universal sense of what I'd read from other queer writers about this movie, about embracing this film, but also the horrible transgender representation that exists in this final moment here. I think it's such an interesting, compelling read. So we know Peter was raised as a girl. We cut back to the beach and we see Paul's severed head roll off of Angela's lap. And Angela stands up and we see, like, it's so like experimentally shot. Like I know it's because they're superimposing Felissa Rose's face onto another body, so it's a special effect happening here, but it's this weird green aqua-y tint, super dark, and her face is brightly lit under this like kind of like lion's mane of hair, and then the iconic like open mouth side eye silent scream gurgly noise that she's doing, and we see she's covered in blood, in Paul's blood, and we see that she has a penis. And one of the counselors like, it's a boy all along. Dun dun dun. Credits.
Like that was the mystery. Well, mystery solved.
Hey, we figured it out.
We were looking for a girl, but we found a boy. All right, pack it up. All right, we're going home. No, these dead bodies still sort themselves out. I see. Here's my thing: is that in this moment, she looks so ferocious. Is the only word I can use to describe her. Like she becomes like animalistic, like very primal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ignoring like everything below the waist. Okay, but like she's like almost werewolf like in this last moment, like the howling.
Yeah, feral Felissa.
And so in this moment, is she not free?
I think
she's
so.
standing in her power.
Yeah. She has thrown off the shackles of Paramus, and she is fucking complete in this moment.
So I'm hearing that this is also a story about a woman reaching apotheosis, reaching self-actualization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like fully tapping into like bestial, like man beast potential.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Chitara. She is Chitara, is what I'm
saying.
Yes,
she is 100%.
That sounds like an awesome place to wrap this up and rate this film. What do y'all say?
Yes, let's.
Okay, so how approachable is this movie if you are horror film averse? On our Sasha scale, squeamish approachability scale for the horror averse, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being like not at all approachable and 10 being super approachable if you are averse to watching horror. I would give Sleepaway Camp like 4 tall vats of boiling corn out of 10. Like it's not as bloody as you think it's going to be. Like the poster for it, like the knife through the running shoe, makes this seem way more intensely gory than it is. It does have some gore. I just found that it feels low budget. It does a lot of off-screen tricks with the death and things like that. But again, like we have the issue of transgender representation, homosexual representation, things like that. But it is also
it's a bit rapey.
It's
Gets
a little bit rapey
there for a
yeah,
minute.
there's
Could be argued.
It could be argued that there's a rape culture read on this movie as
A little
well. Yeah, so there's a lot of those elements too. So content trigger warning for those sorts of things as well. But yeah, I mean, it feels kind of it's in a similar vein in terms of its like violence and scares to a Friday the 13th type of movie, you know. It's a little bit more creative and campy and silly and more fun, I think. But it's still got its kills. It's got its creative kills. It's got its like scary moments, its jump scares, things like that. So 4 out of 10 corn pots. Cecil, what about you?
In the canon of horror films, I mean, this is like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like this movie makes all the wrong moves and somehow makes all the wrong moves so many times that it turns right. To be honest, like I also like it because it's not Friday the 13th slasher, like boobies slasher. Listen, the Gentlemen Are Delicious from 1983, and I was here for it. It is a movie that I could pretty solidly recommend to anybody who is like a middling horror or above. You know, like be prepared. It's going to be silly. It's going to be fun. But honestly, the gore, or not gore, like the gloopy gloppy like SFX pieces, they're fucking great.
Yeah,
they're really well done.
Yeah,
that was my favorite credit in the credits was gloopy gloppies by whoever.
Anthony, what about you? Would you have any scale you would rate this on? You know, we talk about approachability and how it is as a horror movie. Maybe I don't know if you have a scale for wigs or anything of that. And it can be anything if you want to rate this movie for something.
I mean, I'll rate this movie on wigs alone 10 out of 10 corn pots and Judy ponytails, because that Judy's hair is spectacular. I have seen many a drag queen do a Judy. I have done Judy. I had performed a Judy number in front of Judy, Karen Fields. She came up and tipped me and hugged me right before I got the curling iron. I know, proudest moment of my life.
Nice.
So I think, you know, and I think in terms of approachability, like, yeah, there's all these issues, but there are much more dark slasher films that also have similar issues in them that aren't as fun. And I think just for approachability, like anytime I've showed this to a friend that doesn't like horror, they're always blown away by just the sheer crazy Jersey spectacle of it all. And that's what lingers with people. So I say show everyone, tell everyone, 10 out of 10 across the board. I love Sleepaway Camp.
Well, let's figure out what movie we will watch next. Cecil, you have a scare die. I have a style die. We'll roll those dice, match them up, see what movie fits. So if you roll a 1, Cecil, our next film scare is Witchy. 2, Alien. 3, Demons. 4, Tiny Blank. 5, Vampire. Or 6, Zombie. What is our scare, Cecil?
That's a 3.
We're going to do Demons.
We are literally never going to roll Tiny Blank.
I've got to track back and see how long that's been on there. Yeah.
Months it has been.
That's amazing. Okay,
so we're gonna
match up your demons with whatever I roll here. So if I roll on my style die, a 1, we're gonna do a found footage film. 2, something action fantasy, a little peripheral to the horror genre. 3, something from the 1970s. 4, apocalyptic. 5, wild card, whatever demons film we would like to watch. Or 6, Euro horror, something made in Europe. All right, so let's see what we got here. I got a 4. What is a 4? That is post-apocalypse.
Oh.
We don't got much, but let's see what Letterboxd has.
Oh, well, I know what movie I'm gunning for, but let's see what the fans have to say and what Anthony, because That's your name now, is Antony.
Thank you. There is an apostrophe and then just an NY.
Okay,
right.
great. There's a slash through the O.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with the folks on Letterboxd who are so great at contributing movies to this. So Benjamin Barron threw in a couple movies I don't know at all. One is Demon City Shinjuku from 1988.
Is that anime? Are you trying to trick me into watching anime?
Benjamin might be tricking us into watching anime. It's hard to say exactly.
But he also put End of Days up there, which I think is a good one.
What is End of Days?
Schwarzenegger, baby.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah.
And
it's like literally Arnold Schwarzenegger and like Miriam Margolyes and Udo Kier and Gabriel Byrne, like some of the finest
Gabriel
actors.
Byrne, the devil.
Yeah. Like it's literally Arnold Schwarzenegger shoot him up with the devil.
Oh wow. Okay. That's it.
Come
That's
with
kind
me
of...
if you want to live.
Well, that, and now looking up Demon City Shinjuku is which is an anime that also kind of runs in the realm of like action fantasy,
like Demon Hunter
demons.
kind of thing.
Demon
Hey,
Hunter
listen, I'll watch that on my own time.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
So that does seem kind of fun. So what else do we have? We have let's see. Cronenberg TA wrote In the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that. Yeah, when you start thinking
the end
about
of the world as we know it, and Stephen King has got the book coming out next month.
That's right. That's right. Brave Crabther's at the Omen from the 1970s. We don't see demons or apocalypse, but Damien is the son of the devil and is destined to bring about the end of days, which I think that is a nice explanation for how those two fit together.
That's pretty, but we kind of don't get there until like the Omen 3.
Feels like a cheat.
It is a little bit of a cheat. It's
like
awesome. Yeah. Like, I'm betting Brave Crab was good at high school debate.
Yeah. Like, here's my
rock solid argument there.
Now,
all right, we have
this one that I think you put on there, the Devil's Carnival 2012.
Let's find out if I did or did not.
Did you do that, or did I do that in a fugue state?
Sometimes we both kind of get in a fugue state, sometimes filling these out. Yeah, the Devil's Carnival. Okay, so this is by the folks who did Repo the Genetic Opera.
That's it. I knew.
Isn't Sarah Brightman in that?
And Repo, I think so. Yeah.
Or is she in Devil's Carnival?
I don't see her listed on the immediate
so far.
Okay. Yeah. So this is like sinners are invited to a theme park where they endure the repetition of their transgressions. Lucifer and his colorful cast of singing carnies invite you to grab a ticket to the Devil's Carnival to find out. I don't know if this is necessarily apocalyptic so much as just if you reframe the apocalypse as just when you die, that's apocalyptic, I guess.
It's the end of the world as you know it.
As you know it. Yeah. And we've got another one that you put on here, Cecil.
Now, this is one that I've been trying to get this film on here for a minute, because this is one that I watched. Like, this is pretty much a Cecil movie, like that formed my idea of what horror was and what horror could be. And that's Dust Devil, directed by Richard Stanley in 1992.
Okay.
This movie is witchy as fuck.
Ooh.
So witchy that like this movie is like black magic, masculine energy, black magic on celluloid. And it's very sexy, it's very witchy, and it's a experimental film. It has a plot, but like go one step beyond Nightbreed and you'll find Dust Devil.
Interesting.
That's my
I've never even heard of it. I
haven't either.
Okay, sidebar, we'll talk about this on the episode if we pick it. But this guy later went on to direct The Island of Dr. Moreau with Marlon Brando and the mini-me, and he like had a mental breakdown and like lived in the jungle outside the set of the film. Fairuza Balk tells us all about it in the documentary. It's fucking fascinating.
Amazing.
Like he turned into Brando in Apocalypse Now.
Yes. Richard Stanley is like literally one of my idols.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing now, but he is one of my idols.
Wow.
Well, I think we've got a lot of movies that are kind of, ride the line on one or the other of demons or apocalypse, but it sounds like this is the most exciting one. Like I sense an excitement from you, and I don't know, would you agree, Anthony? Like this seems like the way we should go.
I'm curious myself that I'm going to have to watch it and I'm going to have to listen.
Let's do it. That was super easy. Well, listen, thank you all for listening to our show. Thank you, Cecil, for talking with me. And thank you, amazing guest, Anthony Hudson. Thank you for coming back. Anthony, where can people find you and your work in this world?
Oh, light a bag of poop on fire and I'll be there. I am, you can listen to Gaylords of Darkness at gaylordsofdarkness.com or, via any podcast listening device. And you can find out more about me and my work at thecarlarossi.com or on any social media at the Carla Rossi.
If y'all have thoughts on Sleepaway Camp or ideas for other movies that would have been good demons meets post-apocalyptic, let us know on Twitter at random or Instagram at randomhorror9 and watch Dust Devil from 1992 with this week and come on back next Tuesday for a new episode. Have a restful night with no death wish children tossing sand at you or nothing.